Hey guys, I'm Diego.
And I'm Woodny.
And welcome back to Firewall Explores. This is Firewall's way of bringing big adventures to your small screen. Woodny, where have you been?
Well, I've been learning as much as I could about fish in the ocean all day, and I've been at the beach snorkeling, interviewing all the fish, but they didn't give me the information I needed.
Well, learning about sea creatures and their habitat is very interesting, but I think I know exactly where we can learn more.
Really? Then what are we waiting for? Let's dive in.
Is amazing. Diego, where are we? Today, we're at the South Florida Science Center and Aquarium in West Palm Beach, and we're going to learn some facts about fish straight from the experts.
Whitney, what are you doing? Well, I brought my snorkeling gear and I was ready to go underwater to talk to the experts myself.
No, Woodny, this is the expert. And before you ask, no, she's not married to me.
Oh, well, I thought we were going to talk to the fish.
Nope. I want to introduce you to Rebecca. She is the Aquarium Director, aka the Fish Queen, and she can tell us more about marine life and the habitats around them.
I'm happy to be on Firewall Explores and excited to help you and your students learn more about marine life. Although I am not a fish, I do know quite a lot about them, so if you have any questions, guys, fire away.
Okay, let's see. Is it true that some species of fish can grow according to the size of their tank?
That is actually not true. I hear that question all the time, so that is an excellent question to ask. If a fish stops growing because of the size of their tank, that means you've stunted their growth because of the size of tank you put them in. Fish should actually grow in captivity to the size that they're supposed to be in the wild. So if they stop growing, say you have a 5-foot-long shark in a 100-gallon tank, then you are going to stunt that shark's growth, for example. Yes.
Do fish go to school?
Fish don't physically go to school, but over 70% of fish at some point in their life will school together to avoid predation and to kind of seem like one single species.
Well, how can we help protect these beautiful creatures and their environments?
There's a lot you guys can do to protect fish. Starting with education, learn about the fish, learn about what's causing harm to them. Big thing is plastic. We're saying that there's going to be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2048. Overfishing too. You should, there's actually an organization called seafoodwatch.org where you can look up what is harming the environment that you're eating as a seafood source and what's actually not harming the environment. Another really simple thing you can do that I love to tell my kids about here at the Science Center is the Skip the Straw Challenge. 500 million plastic straws and plastic bags are going into the ocean that are killing our endangered sea turtles, our sharks, our whales, our dolphins. All you have to do is skip the straw. Bring a reusable cup with you somewhere, and you're actually helping the environment really well. So that's a big thing you can do.
Is there any other cool stuff we can learn about fish?
There's tons of cool stuff to learn about fish. You name it, we'll be teaching it here at the Science Center. And you can also learn about the nitrogen cycle, which is a big one.
Oh, I know about that. Cycle? Is that like the water cycle? I know the water cycle because it rains in Florida all the time. Kind of. The nitrogen cycle is less about the movement of water and more about the transfer of chemicals in the water. Chemicals? Aren't those bad for us? Well, certain chemicals can be bad for you, but fish need a certain set of chemicals called nitrates and nitrites. You see, fish produce the chemical ammonia after eating food, and that's where the nitrogen cycle starts.
So ammonia is released and then
does it turn into nitrates or nitrites first?
Well, if a nitrite has 2 oxygen atoms and a nitrate has 3, what do you think goes first?
Nitrites.
Precisely. Then the nitrates will either go into the air through condensation or turn back into ammonia through a process called assimilation.
So, if these chemicals are so important for the fish, what happens when the cycle doesn't work?
Well, one of the big environmental detriments to fish is hypoxia. This can occur when the nitrogen cycle is unbalanced and there isn't enough oxygen in the water for fish to breathe.
Breathe? You can't breathe liquid, can you?
Actually, just like humans, fish need oxygen. So if there isn't enough oxygen in the water, they can suffocate.
Wait, so how do we help them? Because scientists have discovered over 32,000 different fish species and still have only explored 1% of the ocean.
Well, this is why aquariums like this were made, to educate people on how to help them. Right, Rebecca?
Exactly. And this is where conservation comes in. Like I mentioned earlier, some of the simplest things you can do to help fish in your environment. And this is our backyard, so there's a lot of reason for us to care.
Thank you, Rebecca, and the South Florida Science Center and Aquarium for teaching us all about marine life today.
Discover even more about sea life and other fun science-related topics like human bodies and corona. You can go to our YouTube channel if you don't want to come physically here today. Check it out. Subscribe to our channel. We have tons of virtual programs online.
Well, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook as we post hints about where Woodny and I will be next.
And of course, like, subscribe, and click the bell down below to get notifications for whenever we post our next episode of Firewall Explores. Stay cool and stay curious.